Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Necrostevo versus Don Fanatic. Hello there, YouTube. I'm Necrostevo, and today we are here with our second battle in PPL, NX Stage 2. And I get to battle my longtime rival, the Don Fanatic. If you go back and search on my channel, you will see that we have battles going up to 9 years ago when I first started uploading on YouTube. So very excited for this matchup. Let's get to the battle teams here. You can see that Don Fanatic and the Norwich Skitty have drafted Iron Valiant, Golden Go, Hisuian Samurott, Dragonite, Glamora, Arcanine, Superior, Jolteon, Swampert, and Impidimp. This team was incredibly annoying to prepare for because his Terra captains are the Arcanine, Jolteon, the Swampert, and the Impidimp. And all of those are pretty viable. And for this was one of those matchups where I just decided to play my game instead of trying to predict what he was going to bring. So be sure to check out Jack's side of the battle in the description. And for our side, we have a Heavy Duty Boots, Flower Trip knockoff U-turn Toxic Spiking Meowscarada. We have a Rocky Helmet, once again, fully physically defensive Palisand, just here with the Stealth Rocks and the Shore Up shenanigans, but we are Terra Poison this time. I have Quaquaval with the Salt Vest, which is 4 moves: Aqua Step, Close Combat, Ice Spinner, and Rapid Spin. And we also have a Salt Vested Primarina, Moonblast, Surf, Ice Beam, and Flip Turn. We round things out with Ogerpon with Spiky Shield this week. I figured it could be a good answer to his Iron Valiant if it's physical, or at least let me predict and scout if it is special. And then we have our Colbur Berry, Torch Song, Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Slack Off on the Skeledirge to round out the team there. Shout outs to a couple of people in the council for the set on the Skeledirge, because if it's not broken, don't even mess with it. Just do a little bit of routine maintenance and make sure that that's the set that you want to run. As far as our opponent's team, I was expecting him to either lead with the Hisuian Samurott, the Glamora, or maybe the Iron Valiant. I did not anticipate the other Pokemon in the lead slot there just because they would be pretty valuable. And of course, leading with Jolteon when I have an un-Terra Palisand doesn't really make too much sense either. And so that's why I decided to just lead with my Ogerpon, knowing that I could go straight for the Spiky Shield on the Iron Valiant. I did figure that if he led with the Swampert, he actually might just swap it out raw, not wanting to Terra right away. And he does lead with Swampert with just an iconic nickname that immediately made me chuckle at the beginning of the battle. Here, honestly, I'm just going to go straight for Power Whip. Even if he does Terra, which we did know that he was Terra Steel here, he's still going to take a lot of damage. He would need something like Avalanche or something like that to hurt me back too much. I should have really put Low Kick or Knockoff onto my Ogerpon, but I also thought that the sheer power of Power Whip would be able to help make up for the lack of coverage on things. So here we go for Power Whip, do a pretty decent chunk, and my opponent goes for Flip Turn to immediately get out of there. Seeing Flip Turn this early instead of maybe Stealth Rocks or offensive ice type move kind of telegraphed to me that it's probably either Custap or maybe a Salt Vest. Either one could be annoying later on, so I really just wanted the damage up front. I could have also gone for Trailblaze there to outspeed his entire team, but if he stayed in and didn't Terra and I went for Trailblaze, then that wouldn't KO him. So that's why I did go for the move that I went for there. Now, this is an opportunity to go for Spiky Shield. If he decided to go for Close Combat, then I would be able to eat that. I didn't want to reveal Spiky Shield this early though, especially if, say, the Samurott had Aqua Jet or something like that. So I go out into my defensive Skeledirge here, and the Colbur Berry allows me to easily eat that knockoff damage. And knowing that he's probably going to want to swap into the Hisuian Samurott now is a great time to throw off a Will-O-Wisp. If he stays in, that's going to really thoroughly neuter his Iron Valiant. But since the Hisuian Samurai is Dark and Water, it's going to resist both of my stab type moves. So a pretty easy swap in. I was like, please don't be Lumberry, please don't be Lumberry. And he is not, which is fantastic. We're able to immediately grab that burn. And I still don't really want him to get up a bunch of spikes. And so my swaps into the Ceaseless Edge here, I could have gone into my Ogerpon or my Quackleval, but I decided to go into my Palisand immediately because with the burn, he wouldn't be able to hurt me that much. I could get up my rocks really early and I could get my HP back, all while he was getting whittled down. Also, if he decided to go for the water type move, then I would be able to snag the water compaction ability as well. He does just go straight for the Ceaseless Edge to get those hazards up, which is fine by me. I am going to go for the Terra Poison here, and now I am no longer weak to the Ceaseless Edge, so he's really not going to be doing that much damage. Interestingly, Ceaseless Edge does count as a contact move, and so he is taking this Rocky Helmet damage. I assume that's because the scimitar that Samurai uses is a part of its body, so maybe that's why that counts. Like maybe when he's putting it back into the sheath, which is connected to it, like it's I don't know, it's scarred up because of the Rocky Helmet, so it's like it hurts when he's putting it back in. I don't know. I don't know why that counts as a contact move, but I'm okay with it. Now here I do go for Shore Up as he brings back in the Swampert. I really thought about staying in here and going for Scorching Sands. Swampert would not be able to KO me with an Earthquake here. But the opportunity to get the offensive pressure with the Meowscarada was really strong here. And so I decided to go out to Meowscarada expecting an Earthquake. And I knew that I could take those very, very easily. And that also covered him if he decided to go for Stealth Rock and if he weren't Assault Vested rather. Because remember at this point I was just thinking he might be Assault Vested or Custap or something like that. If he was Assault Vested, then staying in there definitely wasn't the play because Scorching Sands would not do that much to him. I go for Knock Off here expecting him to swap out, but he stays in and I knock off the Assault Vest, so I did actually call that right earlier in the match. But I also forgot about Protean changing my type here, and so the flip turn does a ton of damage to me. I don't think that was in range of Torrent. It might have been, which might also be why that did so much damage. With 2 layers of spikes up and the low amount of HP that I have on my Meowscarada, I can't really switch out here. Switching back in would not be, number 1, I'd KO on switching in, and number 2, I don't really have anything that I want to necessarily take a Thunderbolt. Also, Jolteon could have very easily gone for the substitute there and tried to set up with Calm Mind or something annoying, so I just stayed in there to make sure to force the situation. We do go out to the Ogerpon now, knowing that if he has a coverage move, it's most likely like a Terra Blast for that coverage move, and so I didn't think he could do too much damage to my Ogerpon. As he goes for the Volt Switch to swap out here, once again, I just wanted damage on something. I really need to start getting things into range here. He does go out to his Hisuian Samurott, and it would have been really cool if I had gone for the Trailblaze right there. Not gonna lie, because then that would have made me faster than the Iron Valiant coming in. However, that is not the move that I went for because, I don't know, maybe that's the otter nonsense in this battle, as we saw the nickname on the Hisuian Samurott there. That's okay though, because I do have Spiky Shield, and so he comes in, I do break a Sash if that's what he had on there with the Stealth Rocks, and I go for Spiky Shield here, going, alright, now's my chance to reveal this. Let me see if he has that close combat, or maybe he wants to go for the knockoff again, or maybe he has Spirit Break. All of those would trigger the Spiky Shield chip, and he immediately doubles out to the Ogerpon. And so I was like, well, that's not what I expected to happen right here. I could have just gone for an offensive move. With the Ogerpon in versus the Golden Go, I decided to just go for Ivy Cudgel to just get some damage here. I wasn't really sure what he wanted to do, but I didn't want to swap anything on it. But he goes for Nasty Plot. And I was really dismayed to see that because I could have gone out into my Quacklevault earlier. But now I kind of just want damage on it. So we're just going to go for Power Whip here to do as much damage as possible. Because I figured if I could get him down to around half, I could finish him off with something. But then he shows Recover. And I was like, no. Now he's at +2 and he's back to full HP. Is he going to set up another nasty plot here? Because with just +2, my Primarina can handle him. So I was thinking he was going to set up another nasty plot in order to be able to two-shot my Primarina. So I do go out to Primarina expecting him to nasty plot again. But he actually just Shadow Balls here. And so that was a misplay. I could have just stayed in with Ogerpon and continued to go for moves. He does get the special defense drop on my Primarina, which sucks because I think I would have been able to take one more Shadow Ball from it. Because the first bit was from the spikes there, so it at least would have been a roll without the special defense drop. Now is the point where I'm looking at my team, and I'm looking at this thing here at +2 special attack, and I don't really have anything for it, unfortunately. I did think that Palisand could take at least one +2 Make It Rain, but I am not able to do that. I am max physically defensive. Here thinking, okay, my other alternative here is that I can go out into Quacklevault and maybe just rack up enough speed, hopefully being able to 3-hit KO the Golden Go. But since he's back at full HP, this doesn't really work out the way I wanted it to. If he were at the halfway HP point where the Ogerpon left him at earlier, great. But at full HP, that Aqua Step functionally is like a 5-hit KO, maybe a 4-hit KO. I'm not doing enough damage here. I can possibly put it in range of my Skeledirge. I do get a crit on the second Aqua Step. That crit is not going to end up mattering here, just because he's able to KO my Quacklevault before it's able to snowball too much with the Aqua Steps. I go back out into my Ogerpon here to hopefully... I really didn't think that I could do any damage to it with the Skeledirge. I thought he would KO me from that point of range. He is still at +1 because we went for the Make It Rain. So I went out into Ogerpon hoping that I could maybe go for a crit Ivy Cudgel or a crit Power Whip just to finish it off. I really boffed the end game here. Power Whip does not finish off the Ogerpon, the Golden Go, excuse me. But it was close. But I think in the end game here, what I should have done, number one, it would have been smart in prep just to put knockoff on the Ogerpon. But the positioning just wasn't there that I expected. Again, I thought that the Iron Valiant would be pressured into attacking the Ogerpon, not swapping out. And surprisingly, with Unaware, I am able to take a neutral Shadow Ball. So if I had realized that, I would have gone into this first before, of course, sacrificing so many of my Pokemon, because I could have still had the Palisand, the Ogerpon, and the Primarina. Good grief. But I think that comes down just to not only the misplay generally against the Golden Go, but maybe just the power of the nicknames. Maybe I was just really distracted by the, like, Barktois, Swamussy, Otter Nonsense, Looks Maxing. Clearly, the nicknames were too powerful, and so this battle is going to go to the Don Fanatic with the Norwich Skitty. Don Fanatic, thank you very much for the battle, sir. Always a pleasure to fight you and to see you on the battlefield. Thank you all for watching. I gotta shake these off here. I feel like I've been battling in someone else's, I don't know, brain or body. Like piloting someone else's mech suit when you don't know the controls is how my battles have felt in PPL and X. And I just have not been able to lock in. So, come back tomorrow, battle number 3. We need to lock in, and let's see what happens when we are up against our next opponent. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night.